Hello everyone and welcome to a very special edition of The Good, the Bad and the Ridiculous, because I have as my incredibly special guest a man who is at least two of those things, young man from WA doing his best, Adam Gilchrist.
Young man, thank you. I like that intro, but I'll try and work out which of the two I am out of the three categories there. But anyway, we'll work that out by the end of the show.
Well, I would say because you're a good person for coming on and you're ridiculously talented at cricket.
Oh, very nice.
I think I got away with that.
Very kind, very kind.
You ready? You pumped
I'm ready.
for this?
Yeah, been looking forward to this.
All your life.
Thanks for having me.
No, thanks for being had. Abhishek nominates Good, unbelievable Indian comeback after the unmentionable.
Mm-hmm.
And Okarona Kalana says no Shami, no Kohli, no Sharma, no Pandya, no Bhuvi, Yadav injured in Australia's backyard on their turf. Ridiculously good.
Yeah, did you mention Rohit?
Didn't even mention Rohit.
Yeah, right.
Or Ishant.
Yeah. So the first one was good, and the second one was ridiculously good.
We can mix those categories.
For anyone to have forecast that on the back of the unmentionable, 36, to say that turnaround with all those names out, a captain in his third test pretty much ran the show for 3.5 days, and how appropriate that he hit the winning runs. They'll talk about this one forever. So, yeah, ridiculously good.
At Who's says ridiculous umpires call is like having two sets of rules of the same thing. And the great Jim Maxwell, who's a big fan of this show as well, says DRS needs a hearing aid and ophthalmic surgery.
Oh, yeah, look, I really agree with the first point there. You can't have the same ball that can be not out and out, depending on a decision that's been made first time round. So it's got to be one or the other.
Well, the other thing about the two rules is it's the ball that goes or clips the bail more so, I think, than the actual stumps. Yeah. Because it's the line underneath the bail, whereas that hitting the top of the bail or halfway through the bail is going to get...
It's going to knock them off, isn't it?
Yeah. So what do they do? An umpire's call is there to protect the umpires, mostly, you feel. But where do they go? Surely they're going to have a look at it after this.
I'd like them to go back to 2 referrals, not 3. I think they're being used in a frivolous fashion and almost tactically by having so many to go to. Make them just be a bit more decisive about a time to roll that one out. I think all the noise around DRS is going to be... They're going to revisit it, and I would think they need to.
Yeah, and they do listen. They do listen. The MCC, the ICC, they listen to you guys out there. They notice things on social media, so keep going.
Social media notices everything about the game of cricket. As a commentator, I can promise you. And we love your feedback. We learn a lot.
You only get positive feedback on this show. Trust me.
Right.
Trust me.
Okay.
AK says Stark leaving the field only to come back thanks to DRS was ridiculous. That was a ridiculous sight, wasn't it?
Yes. Very ridiculous. Did he review it? He got given, didn't he?
He got given. Well,
and he reviewed it and then walked off.
What was it? Like, appealing? I don't think he knew whether it was court or
LB or whatever it was.
It summed up everything that was ridiculous about what's happened with DRS.
I cannot think of anything else that happened today that could be more ridiculous than that. That was a Benny Hill skit there for a minute. Just cue the music. That's it.
Amit says bad. Che's lack of scores. What's happening?
Well, Che, Smithy, we're dealing in some pretty big numbers there. So at some point, you've got to cut them some slack somewhere. And it, probably more bad for Australia in the fact that Smith's missed out than Jadeja was missed out, and India have still managed to come back and win. So 1-1, I expect both of them to fire a shot at some stage.
Because we've been looking at the fact that perhaps Smith, it almost seems like Ashwin's in his head a bit. He's shadow batting to Ashwin while Bumrah is bowling and he's at the non-striker's head. And I was just wondering, have you ever had a bowler get inside your head, and did someone what do you do to get them out? Do you have to get a priest come around and perform an exorcism where they make your head spin around and spew green stuff?
2005 Ashes, every time I went out to bat, Freddie Flintoff was bowling around the wicket. Every time I was wicket keeping, it felt like Freddie Flintoff was batting. every billboard around the UK had a promotion of Freddie Flintoff, an advertising campaign. I got home to my room one night, crawled into bed next to my wife, looked over, and all I saw was Andrew Flintoff looking at me. Not really, but in my mind. Fair to say, he was in my head at that stage.
As opposed to in your bed.
I don't think that's ever been exercised from me. I think when I see Freddie now, I jump and go, whoa, what are you doing? Why do you need to be near me?
Well, there you go. So Smith may never get over this.
Ooh, we'll have to see. He's a decent player. But not just Ashwin. The Bumrah, the setup for that and the field positioning. Ajinkya Rahane might have got in his head. Someone has.
So there's a party going on where they're playing Bhangra music all day and all night in Steve Smith's head.
He will be back, though. He'll be back.
Venki says, good obviously has to be green. He has a great find for Oz, and that cover drive was just majestic.
Yeah, he's got a great game built around a solid defence. That was what I saw. And I'm only seeing, as much as green now, what a lot of viewers around the world are. I haven't seen a huge amount of him live, snippets from Shield cricket, but to see him put together an innings, it's a solid defence. It worked pretty well for Rahane, didn't it? And then you just capitalise on the loose balls. Very good, very promising signs. He would have learnt more, I think, about bowling from this Test match than batting, because he showed good glimpses or strong glimpses in Adelaide, but wasn't really ever called on under pressure. But in this Test, he just learned a bit more about length to get not too short, not too full, and somewhere in between there. But no, very, very good prospect.
The funniest thing was when he got out playing the hook to Siraj, who discomforted him, by the way, at Drummoyne when they played that warm-up game with the short ball. But my favourite bit of his dismissal was actually Jadeja's reaction, because he looked completely shocked. It was like he looked over as if, wasn't the ball going over there?
I'm going to say that was a bad reaction, all right? And I'll tell you why. And for all the Indian fans out there that I know so many million will follow this particular segment that you run so well, I was on air, I called that, he hits it, I call out. And then I see that reaction, Jadeja giving it that one, and I went, no, about to say he's dropped it.
Yeah.
But then I froze because I couldn't see a ball anywhere. So I'm assuming all of India think I've given it, oh no, an Aussie wicket. But I wasn't being, too supportive of Australia. I'm impartial. I just want good cricket. But anyway, he did me like a kipper there. So, it was a good innings. Not long enough. I'm sure Cam Green will say he wanted to go, but it was a bad reaction from Jadeja. He did me cold.
He's a tricky little thing. Aditi says ridiculous opposition tails wagging India. A lot of nominations for this. Australia's got a very good tail, but India has had problems elsewhere getting the tail out.
Well, yeah, they put on I think it was 90 maybe in Adelaide, or certainly 80 probably. Tim Payne was obviously the mainstay, but he had some decent support from, and that put them into what ended up being a winning position. But I bowled Australia out for 195 and 200.
It's a bit harsh,
I
isn't it?
reckon that's horribly harsh.
Yeah, don't be so harsh.
Am I saying that comment's a bad comment? I reckon.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, you can do that.
Keep them coming in though. Don't be put off by that. Don't be deterred. We encourage a bit of bad. Of course, that's in the title.
It is. It's in all my titles. Don't worry. Amrit says good Indian debutantes.
Oh,
well, now is the secret to being an aggressive, fearless yet stylish opening batter have anything to do with your surname beginning with Gil?
Well, I tell you what, I've seen him play that way in white ball cricket. It was going to be interesting to see how he went in Test match cricket. He made a comment, didn't he, Shubman, after getting out in the first innings, that he played that sort of forceful one off the back foot, got the edge, and he just felt like he didn't want to miss out on any scoring opportunities. So that in itself tells you a bit about the mindset, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than, no, I shouldn't have played that shot. It's, oh no, I just didn't want to miss out on something there with a bit of width. But very exciting. Again, looked pretty compact in defence. And Siraj was very impressive. Had great support around him.
Yeah.
It's a very unified team that came out of Adelaide and regrouped. But those two debutants, good, almost ridiculously good.
Ooh, yeah, Siraj, especially when you consider that he lost his father.
Backstory's amazing.
And when he sang the anthem, I actually noticed he had his eyes closed and he was looking up and singing, and he looked so emotional. It really stood out.
Yeah, and I tell you what else, an amazing athlete.
Yeah.
That's the modern fast bowler, isn't it? They don't sort of lope around now. They are finely tuned athletes.
Oh,
in
you
the
were
field.
a finely tuned athlete.
Yeah, but I
Come
wasn't
on.
a fast bowler. I was getting paid to be able to move around. Fast bowlers just plug in.
Well, I think what the main thing we have established, though, is that the way to cure Joe Burns and Prithvi Shaw's problem is they just have to change their name and become Joe Gil Burns and Prithvi Gilshaw. Sorted. Genius.
There's no guarantee.
Anirudh says good. 30,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah.
Crowds at the MCG. That's good.
Yeah, 90,000 across 3.5 days. That's fantastic, isn't it? That's really good. I think everyone, whether they came here and supported the winning team or the losing team, any cricket follower around the world will just look at that crowd and take a lot of warmth out of that, given what we've had to endure through the whole year. So, good signs. Let's see where we end up playing the next test and if there's any crowds there. But for the moment, let's dine out and savour that atmosphere that was out there.
Yes. Now, drum roll. What are your winners for the goodest?
The goodest, gee.
For today.
I think the goodest part of the day was the captain hitting the winning runs. Thoroughly deserved. The only thing he didn't win in this whole game was a toss.
And it was probably a good one
It was
to
a
lose.
perfect one to lose, so that was a good.
So he even
a good
won while
toss to lose.
losing. He won while losing.
He's my goodest recipient
Good,
today.
Good choice. Baddest?
Baddest, Jadeja. Can't stitch me up like that on international commentary. God.
Okay,
I haven't even looked at my Twitter account yet. I can't wait to hear about being horribly biased. But
don't
anyway.
worry, once the millions of followers see this, then they'll understand.
Yeah, that'll take the pressure
I'll
off.
sort you out. And the ridiculousest.
The ridiculousest is the fact that it's 1-1 after Adelaide.
That turnaround.
But it's a really exciting 1-1, isn't it, for the rest of this series? Absolutely ridiculously good.
I'm happy with that. It's ridiculously nice of you to come and do this.
Lovely.
So thank you very
It's
much.
good fun.
And as it stands, we don't know if we'll even see each other at the next text because we don't know where it's going to be. But hopefully we'll see you somewhere.
Bye.